A community rallies to help out a family of 6 killed in a car crash in Wayne County.
It is summertime across the Bluegrass State. That's right, many of us checking our calendars. Calendar says May, the weather says July. Forecast just ahead.
A pair of Republicans add themselves to the growing list of GOP candidates seeking the White House. I'm Craig Boswell in Washington. That's coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Palumbo. The month of May is off to a picture-perfect start. It feels more like summer than spring. Lots of sunshine and blue skies across the Bluegrass. This is a live look at Triangle Park, where we are in the 80s in Lexington. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, good to see a forecast panning out when you're calling for summertime air this early in the season. Boy, Mother Nature better bring it, and she really is. Believe it or not, it's going to get a whole lot toastier as the week wears on. Here's what we're looking at on our broad view of Defender, because I just want to kind of set the stage for you. High pressure across the eastern seaboard. Return flow around here is coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. Cold front is to our north, so that warm and increasingly humid air is continuing to filter into the Bluegrass State. A lot of the shower and thunderstorm action, though, hanging just to the north of the Ohio River. Far northern Kentucky could get in on an isolated shower storm out there this evening. But right now in Lexington, we've got the beautiful sunny skies. And again, that summertime feel. Temperature right at 80 degrees. Humidity not too bad at 40%. Winds are coming at us from the southwest at 13 miles per hour. Temperatures the farther north that we go, we're a little cooler because we have more in the way of some clouds here in the Covington at 78. 81 Richmond, 81 into Danville. Look at London checking in at 82 degrees. Weather headlines, we continue with that middle of summertime feel across the region. Jennifer, humidity is going to join the party. That will eventually lead to some thunder chances on the increase. We'll break all that down with the hour-by-hour forecast here in less than 15 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. A small southern Kentucky community continues to deal with a huge loss. 6 people killed in a crash. Today, grief counselors are at an elementary school helping students cope with the death of one of the victims. State police say a car carrying 2 adults and 4 children crossed the center line on Highway 90 in Wayne County Friday night and hit a pickup head-on. All 6 people in the car died, including a 5th grader at Monticello Elementary School. WKYT's Sam Smith is there with our top story at 4.
The wreck on Friday is on the minds of everyone I talked with today. It happened Friday evening around 6 o'clock on Kentucky 90 West, just outside of town. Kentucky State Police say a 4-door sedan with 6 people inside crossed the center line and collided with a pickup truck going the opposite direction. 2 adults and 4 kids were pronounced dead at the scene. The victims are 41-year-old Tina Proctor, 25-year-old Audrey Ellis, 12-year-old Nate Proctor, 4-year-old Red Barnhouse, 2-year-old Zoe Bertram, and 17-month-old Jace Bertram. Nate was a 5th grader at Monticello Elementary. Grief counselors were at the school today to talk with his classmates and teachers. Principal Stuart York says they'll miss Nate at the school.
I kind of thought of him as a gentle giant. He's just a big smiley kid. Always had a smile on his face, was always good to other kids. He was the kind of guy that you might meet in the hall and he'd want to give you a big high five or a fist bump or sometimes just a big hug.
Now, counselors at the elementary school will be available for as long as they're needed. In Wayne County, Sam Smith, WKYT.
The Vaughn Hicks Funeral Home is accepting donations to help pay for funeral costs. And there's also a GoFundMe page. You can find a link on our website, WKYT.com. The Fayette County School Board hopes firing the search firm will not delay hiring a new superintendent. The board cut its ties with ProAct during a special meeting yesterday. The Chicago Sun-Times reported ProAct CEO Gary Solomon allegedly sent an inappropriate email to a female student and made racist slurs back in 1999. Fayette County School Board members still hope to announce a new superintendent by July 1st. The board is expected to address the search at a meeting tonight. We'll have an update on WKYT News at 5. We're working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Good afternoon to you, Jennifer. Firefighters kept watch for hours overnight after a home in downtown Lexington was badly damaged. That home on East 2nd Street off Elm Tree Lane caught fire about midnight. No one was home when the fire started in a back bedroom, but a woman who lives there became sick when she arrived to see her house on fire.
We did actually have a couple of folks, neighbor folks, come to us and say, hey, you know, there's some dogs inside, you know, the homeowners aren't here, those kinds of things, and sometimes that's very helpful when you're trying to piece together what happened.
Well, it is not clear if the dogs that may have been inside have been found. Firefighters tell us the cause of the fire is under investigation. We'll have details coming up for you at 4:30. State police are investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting. It happened last night in the Chaves community of Perry County. A constable told state police he was conducting a traffic stop when he heard gunshots coming from a nearby camper. Investigators say state police approached the camper and confronted 53-year-old Michael Asher, who refused to come out when he opened the door and raised a gun toward the troopers. State police say the troopers shot and killed Asher. No one else was injured. We'll have more on the investigation on WKYT News at 5:30. That is a look at just some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. FBI agents in Phoenix have been examining 2 vehicles outside an apartment complex where a unit is being searched. This is part of the investigation into a shooting late yesterday outside a Prophet Muhammad cartoon contest in Texas. 2 gunmen armed with assault rifles were killed after opening fire on officers outside the event. A security guard was wounded. An official says one of the gunmen lived at the location being searched right now in Phoenix. The citywide curfew has been lifted, but the state of emergency remains in place in Baltimore. The Maryland National Guard continues to draw down close to 3,000 troops brought in to keep the peace after riots and looting over the death of a black man. 6 Baltimore police officers face charges in the death of Freddie Gray. He suffered a spinal cord injury while in police custody. The presidential field is getting more crowded. 2 more Republicans entered the race today. But as Craig Boswell reports, Carly Fiorina and Dr. Ben Carson are running as outsiders, hoping to change Washington.
Welcome to GMA.
Republican Carly Fiorina announced her White House bid on Good Morning America.
I am running for president.
Fiorina said the other female candidate in the race, Democrat Hillary Clinton, is not trustworthy. The former Hewlett-Packard executive also released a web video playing up that she hasn't held political office.
If you believe that it's time for citizens to stand up to the political class and say enough, then join us.
Ben Carson went to his hometown, Detroit, for an unconventional campaign launch. Musical acts took the stage before the former head of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins introduced himself and promised to do things differently.
I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician.
Carson and Fiorina plan to use their outsider status to set themselves apart in a crowded GOP field.
They feel that there's a place for them in this race, and given the polls at this point, they have an argument. There's nobody that's running away with this yet.
But being an outsider could keep them outside the multi-million-dollar super PACs.
Fiorina and Carson have not proven that they have that kind of backing from the very wealthy.
3 senators polling in millions are already running for the GOP nomination, and several governors and former governors are expected to join the race. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
One of those is former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, who won the Iowa caucuses in 2008. He is expected to formally announce that he is running. Britain's new princess has been named Charlotte Elizabeth Diana. The second child of Prince William and Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, was born Saturday in London. The princess is the 5th great-grandchild of Queen Elizabeth II, and she is 4th in line to the throne.